Hello everyone, it is Meg here, and I want to share with you my absolute top 3 tips to finally get anything you want. Now, I have gathered these tips over literally years, and finally this year they've kind of all come together. And part of that is because of one of my favorite mentors that I've been working with a lot more closely over the past 6 months or so. It's 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. He is a guru of entrepreneurship, how to get into entrepreneurship if it's something that you've never done before, or how to get out of a rut. He's written many books. He has an online community where he shares a lot of his tips. And for whatever reason, over the past 6 months, as I've followed his advice more and more closely, everything I've learned, like literally over years, has just kind of gelled together. And things are just going swimmingly. So I thought I would share these tips with you. But before we get into that, I just want to talk a little bit about why it can be hard to achieve success or to reach the goals that we're going after. I've said before, I have this love-hate relationship with goal setting. I know how important it is, but in the past, I never hit my goals, and it was super frustrating. So why is it that it can be so hard to get what we want? I think number one is we live in like a microwave society. So we want everything and we want it yesterday, right? So we oftentimes don't realize how long it can take to reach our goals. We don't understand how hard it is, what a slog it can be. And so we set these really high bars for ourselves, but our work ethic doesn't quite match up with the goal that we want to hit. And so we often get frustrated too quickly and quit before we get to where we want to be. So let's talk about the tips. I actually want to start with step 0. So step 0 is know what it is that you want. You have got to really know what it is you want. And I'll assume that you do know, but the reason I bring this up is because I've fallen into this trap as well, where I go after something that I think I should want, or that I think I should have, or a goal that someone else told me would be a good idea for me. And that doesn't work out because you're not going after something that you truly want in your heart, in your soul, in like your entire being. And when that thing gets hard, the action that it takes to get to that thing is hard. We just don't have what it takes inside to go forward because the goal that we're going after isn't aligned with ourselves. So step 0 is know what it is that you really want. Step 1, you've got to reverse engineer the actions that it will take to get you there. And not only the actions that it will take, but the actions that will make it inevitable that you will reach that goal. So for some of the things that most of us are going after, it's actually quite simple. Like if you want to lose weight, you literally only have to do a couple things. You have to eat fewer calories, so be in a calorie deficit, make sure that that food is nutrient dense, and work out, let's say 5 times a week. Like literally, if you do those things, you'll lose weight. If you want to become like a top sales earner or something like that, pretty simple. I think most of us know you've got to market your products or your services. You've got to fill your pipeline with potential customers. You have to ask those people if they're willing to take a look at your product or service, and then you have to close them on the sale. Like it's pretty simple. You know, your results will vary depending on like your network and your skill level and whatever. But if you just literally do those things and you do them consistently over time, your skills will improve and you'll end up getting where you want to go. If you want to become a top podcaster, literally you have to network it with influencers, hone your interviewing skills, actually do the interviews and put them out into the world. Pretty simple. If you don't know how to get what you're going after, like if you don't know what activities it will take that will make your success inevitable, my number 1 suggestion is find a few people who've done what you want to do and figure out what it is that they've done to get where they are, rather. So you want to usually look at a couple different people because maybe one person's approach will feel more aligned with you than someone else's. So make sure you have a variety, a sample set to look at, but if you don't know the activities that it takes, just look for someone who's got what you want, figure out what they did to get there. Step 2, get addicted to that activity. You have to be addicted to that activity, because whatever it is that you want, you've got to do that activity consistently. Now, the number one mistake I've made in the past, and probably a lot of high performers make as well, is like you set your goal really high, and oftentimes you're good at getting what you want, and you've performed pretty well, like maybe at your job, or maybe it was like pretty easy for you to run that first marathon or whatever. But we're not all good at 100% of the things that we do, and sometimes that's hard to like look in the mirror and realize that about yourself. Like, Meg, you're not great at everything. Get that inside your head. Like I must be like super like a big head about stuff, like super overconfident or something. I've become more humble in the past few years, and this has helped me because I've realized like some of the things that I want, I'm just not good at naturally, and so I have to work to get there. And so one of the mindset shifts that I've had is realizing that everything that we do is like building a muscle. So we cannot expect to never have set foot in a gym or worked out before, and then all of a sudden overnight be able to bench press 200 pounds. Like, that's not realistic. And it's the same mindset that we have to have with anything that we're going after that's outside of our comfort zone. Yes, some things will still remain easy for us because they're in our comfort zone, but when we are going after something that is way outside of our comfort zone especially, we're starting like way down here. And we have to build up little by little. Like, maybe you do that activity literally 5 minutes a day until you get stronger at it and you feel more confident. And then you add like a few more minutes here and there. But getting addicted to that activity and doing it literally every single day is going to do wonders for you. One of the things I've learned too is remove any barriers to that activity. So as an example, like working out in the mornings for me used to be easy. For whatever reason, it's not anymore. And I've realized one of the barriers to that is changing into my workout clothes. I know it sounds simple, but like I don't like changing when it's really cold outside and it's still dark out. I don't like it. And so I actually can just work out in my pajamas. No problem. Who cares? I'm by myself at my house anyway. But I realized that by removing that barrier of changing into my workout clothes, working out every day is that much easier. So get addicted to the activity that will make your success inevitable. Number 3, lose the addiction to the timing. So whatever it is that we're going for the most part, it's going to be influenced by outside factors that are outside of our control. So even if you eat super healthy and you work out 5 days a week, you cannot literally control how fast you'll lose the weight and when you'll get to your goal weight. You literally cannot control that. You literally cannot control who is going to say yes to your product or service and when and how many people are going to do that. You literally cannot control your audience for your podcast. Like the growth rate of your audience, you can do a lot of engagement, you can follow all the rules, but you literally cannot control the engagement level or the growth of your audience. So when I was going after some goals in the past, I often use that SMART goal system, right? The T in SMART goals is time bound, and it's fine to have a time frame on your goal, but if it's a result-based goal, make sure that time frame is a ways out, like it's not too soon, because that way you're going to give yourself the time to build up the muscle, do the activity consistently, and help with the outside influences that are going to affect your goal. Just make sure that like your goal is here and your work ethic is getting up to where they are matched, because if they're not matched, the time that it's going to take to get there will be a little bit longer. So just let go of the addiction to the timing.